Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Grape. We're going to get back into some wine tonight, and I'm really excited for this. Tonight I'm looking at a wine that's brought in by a local wine agency. That this one is not available at the LCBO. It's brought in from a company called The Case for Wine, and it's owned and operated by Ruben Elmer. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Ruben for a number of years. First met him when he was the sommelier at Canoe, when arguably at that time it was the most sought after job in the city. And he's working with another great industry veteran, Mr. Lenny Panzer, who's kind of the boots on the ground for him. And what they do is they really source unique wines from around the world that speak to the region. And that's what I love about their portfolio is that it's not just a mishmash of everything and anything. There's a real thought process behind the wines that they're choosing that speak to the region. And exactly the case tonight with the Bernard Baudry Les Granges Chinon. I love Chinon. Chinon to me is it's just one of those wines that speaks to me on so many levels. Here you may know it as Cabernet Franc because that's what it is, and also you'll hear it in France called as Breton. So this Bernard Baudry family-run business. Bernard's been in charge of the winery for a number of years, back to I think 1975 when he first got into wine. Now his son Mathieu is also involved, and Mathieu spent some time in California and Tasmania doing some winemaking. Now back with the family and carrying on the tradition. The Les Granges is actually, it's grown on 9 hectares of land, and it's on a gravel and sand soil. Most times you'll equate Tuffeau to the region, more on the clay side, but Les Granges is that sand and gravel. So sand for some great drainage, the gravel adds a little bit of minerality to the wine. It's a little bit different. It's fermented for 15 days in cement, and then aged for 7 to 10 months in cement as well. So it really keeps the natural flavors of the wine itself. And Chinon does have unique flavors for sure, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. Chinon itself is in the Loire, like I said, and it's interesting because it actually straddles the Vienne River. So as it sits, is the Chinon to the north, and also Chinon to the south of the right up against the Vienne, and it abuts the Loire River. So it gets the influences from those two great rivers, moderating temperature through the vineyards. So some little technicalities about the region, but let's really look at the wine. So classic Chinon, dark ruby red, little red rim there, almost opaque, but you can still see through it. It is quite dark though. It's very clean, and it's got some really nice viscosity. The nose, this is where I fall in love with Chinon. It's just on the fruit, it's red and black. It's red raspberries, red currants, red cherries, a little bit of cassis, and then it's a little cherry pit. But then there's black currant, black fig, black cherry as well, bright and tart. And then you got the purple flowers, some lilacs. Then there's all, for me, what's great about Chinon is all the secondary flavors. There's the pyrazines, the bell peppers, the sage, the cigar. There's some green leaf. There's a tobacco box, cedar and sandalwood. A little bit of the leather really comes through, but it's really that green smoky note that always just captivates me in Chinon. It's just lovely. It just keeps going. Let's taste the wine. Wow, really dry red wine. Medium acid, maybe medium plus. I am salivating a bit. Really bright, grippy green tannins, just gripping at the teeth. Medium bodied. But here it reverses. The nose was so much on the red fruit. Now it's really the black that's coming through, and the red is secondary. So it's that dried black cherry, black currant, black cassis. And then there's the red fruit of the red raspberry, red cherry. There's a cherry pit in there as well. Just unbelievable. Alcohol sits really, it's very balanced. I call this alcohol probably around 14%, 13.5 to 14%. It sits here in the back of the palate, but it's not overpowering. Like I said, the wine is really balanced. But now I'm really getting those pyrozenic notes, that black currant bud. I'm getting the tobacco, the cedar, the cigar box. Almost a serrano pepper, bell pepper. It's just, it just keeps giving. It's one of those wines that just keeps giving to you out of the glass. I'm getting a little bit of graphite, pencil shaving, and a little bit of an olive brine. For me, what I want to be eating right now is something with some game and some fattiness, some richness to it, just to help cut through the tannins. And I'm thinking wild boar, venison, elk, anything along those lines, or something creamy. Like I'm thinking like a big creamy blue cheese. Again, just want to cut through some of the tannins. But the wine is outstanding. It just keeps speaking to me. For such a young wine, it's just giving so much right now. The wine's $27.95, a steal of a deal. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to call Ruben and get a case for the house. But if you want to try like an old world Cabernet Franc, and now just as it's sitting here on me, really what my brain is telling me, picture yourself walking through a forest after a rain and all that wet forest floor. That's what I'm tasting, and that's what I'm smelling, and it's just divine. So for $27.95, the Boudry Chinon, you have to pick it up. Support a local business, and put yourself out there for a wine that maybe you would not have tried otherwise. You will not go wrong. This wine, to me, it's like I said, it's 2019. Probably put this down for 5 to 7 years, no problem at all. So pick up a case, put 6 away, and keep 6 to drink on a rainy day. Because God knows with COVID, we're going to have some rainy days indoors for a little while, sadly. But great wine, great value, great company. Highly, highly recommend it. And I'll see you next time when we explore some new wines. Thanks, everyone, and have a great night.